Well, thank you very much for the opportunity that has been given to me. My name is Sarski Tandi. I'm the first speaker. Before my friends explain about what is the function and the application of code switching and code missing, let me first explain about what is code. Well, code refers to any kind of system that two or more people employ for communication. It can actually be used for system used by a single person, as when someone devises a code to protect certain secret. According to Wardau, 1986, the term code refers to a language or any kind of system that two or more people use to communicate. Thus, choosing a code is a situation which people communicate with others by choosing their appropriate system or language. Well, code is a language particular in a specific group, are particular grammars in a specific tongue, rules of considering and deriving words and sentence, inventories of the sounds convey the meaning, rules of uttering those sound, rules of translating those sound into graphic symbols, writing, and etc. There are factors that modify code choice, such as participant, solidarity, status, social distance, status relationship, formality, and function. In order, the most of Indonesian people have an ability to either to speak and understand two languages or even more, and they usually use more than one language to communicate with their community. Well, the types of codes that code switching and code missing is often occur in a particular community. Well, code missing is missing mostly words, but also paraphrase, clause, and even complete sentence of two languages or varieties. And code switching is switching from one language to another language to create a special effect. I think enough. Thank you.
I will continue the material. So about code switching. Code switching is defined as the use of more than one language, variety, or style by the speaker within utterance or discourse, or between different interlocutors or situation, according to Romain in 1992. It means switching the code occurs when there is no more than one language in the communication. The speaker uses his or her ability in another language, style, or dialect, or anything it's served by the speaker. Depends on the addresses in the different occasion. So, code switching is the inevitable consequence of bilingualism, or more generally multilingualism. So anyone who speaks more than one language chooses between them according to the circumstance. And the first consideration, of course, is which language will be comprehensible to the person addressed. Or generally speaking, the speakers choose a language which the other person can understand, though interesting exceptions arise, for example, like religious ceremony. According to Holmes in 1992, code switching occurs when the speaker shifts their language from one language to another language. Code switching is switch essentially between different forms, including alteration of the sentence and phrases from both languages succeeding each other and switching in along narrative. Jadi, code switching ini adalah suatu kegiatan di mana mengganti suatu bahasa dari satu bahasa ke bahasa lain. berdasarkan kondisi linguism. Jadi di mana orang mengganti satu bahasa ke bahasa lain. Misalnya contoh, kita menggunakan bahasa daerah dengan bahasa Indonesia. Bahasa daerah kita gunakan ketika dalam keadaan di mana komunitas kecil seperti yang sesukunya kita, yang sesama suku dengan kita, atau keluarga dekat kita yang paham dengan bahasa daerah tersebut. Sementara penggunaan bahasa Indonesia lebih kepada kondisi yang formal, di mana terdapat lebih dari satu komunitas atau kita sebut dengan multikultural. Jadi penggunaan bahasa Indonesia ini lebih kepada kondisi seperti berada di perkantoran, sekolah, di kuliah, atau bahkan di tempat perbelanjaan di mana penggunaan bahasa Indonesia lebih umum atau general.
Okay guys, now my material is about types of code switching. Hoffman shows some types of code switching based on the juncture or the scope of switching where language takes place. The first one is intersentential code switching. This kind of code switching occurs between clause or sentence boundary where each clause or sentence is in one language or other, as when Spanish-English bilingual says, "Tenías zapatos blancos un poco," they were off-white, you know. In this example, the guy first speak in Spanish and then switch the code using English clause in the end of the conversation. Okay, next is emblematic code switching. In this kind of code switching, text, exclamation, and certain set phrases in one language are inserted into an utterance, otherwise in another, as when a Punjabi English says, "It's a nice day, Hana." Hana, isn't it? The word Hana in Punjabi is as a tag. Okay, next is establishing continuity with the previous speaker. This kind of code switching occurs to continue the utterance of the previous speaker, as when one Indonesian speaker speaks in English and then the other speaker tries to respond in English too. For example, like speaker 1 says, "What a traffic! We will get old in the road." And then speaker 2 says, "Yup, you are absolutely right. Setiap hari macet." In these types of code switching, the change of language occurs in the structure of clause or sentence boundary, insertion with text, exclamation, and certain set of phrase. Even the switch occurs to continue the utterance of the previous speaker. Well, next is types of code switching according to Poplak in Romain. The first one is tag switching. Tag switching is simply the insertion of a tag in one language in an utterance which is entirely in the other language. Like, you know, I mean, right? Like that. And then the second is intersentential switching. Intersentential switching involves a significant amount of syntactic complexity and conformity to the rules of both language. Therefore, speakers performing this kind of switching are usually very proficient in the participating language. Okay, next is intrasentential switching, refers to the switching that occurs inside the same clause or sentence, which then contains elements of both language. This type of switching appears to involve a special principle governing how the syntax and morphology of both language may interacted and consequently adopted only by bilinguals with high level of fluency. It is clearly seen that in code switching, there is no adaptation or integration of words or clauses from one language into the others. What occurs is simply a switch in the language.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nasir, and I will explain about code switching. Code switching is called code situational switching because the switches between language always coincide with change from one external situation. For example, talking to members of the family to another, for example, talking to the neighbors. The choice of language is controlled by rules which members of the community learn from their experience. So these rules are part of their total linguistic knowledge. Now a very obvious question arises. Why should a whole community bother to learn 3 different languages when just one language would do? If everyone in Souris knows standard Italian, why don't they stick to this all the time and let the local German and Italian dialect disappear? No, but Saurians themselves have a clear answer. Standard Italian would just feel wrong at home. The rules link the language to different communities: home, Souris, Italian. So each language also symbolizes that community. Speaking standard Italian at home would be like wearing a side, and speaking German in the village would be like wearing beach clothes in church. In short, each language has a social function which no other language could fulfill. These social functions are more or less arbitrary result of history, but they are no less real for that. The same seems to be typical of bilingual communities in general. The main reason for preserving the language is because of the social distinctions that they symbols. We show another example of the same pattern in the discussion of the Indian village Cup War, where their language are used in order to maintain the caste system. People sometimes switch code within a domain or social situation when there is some obvious change in the situation, such as the arrival of a new person. It is easy to explain the switch. In example 8, Mayor is Maori, and although the rest of the meeting will be conducted in English, Sarah switches to Maori to greet her. The Maori greeting is an expression of solidarity, so a code switch may be related to a particular participant or artist. In a Polish family living in Lancashire in the 1950s, the family used Polish in the home when the local English-speaking priest killed. However, everyone switched to English. In both of these cases, switch indicates a change in the social situation and takes positive account of the presence of a new participant. I think that's enough. Thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Israwati. I will explain about code mixing. According to Bokamba, as cited in Bima, Code mixing is definite but concept thus. Code switching is the mixing of words, phrases, and sentences from two discrete grammatical systems across sentence boundaries within the same speech event. Code mixing is embedding of various linguistic units such as affix or bound morphemes, words or unbound morphemes, phrase and clause from a cooperative activity. Here the participants. The purpose of code mixing seems to be symbolize a somewhat ambiguous situation for which neither language on its own will be quite right. The following is an extra from speech of a Puerto Rican speaker living in New York, quoted by William Labov. The structures in Spanish are translated in breaks. Por eso cada, therefore each. You know it's to be proud of, porque you know story because I'm not proud of it. As a matter of fact, I have it. Pero viene fiar, sábado y esto, to me HJV, but come, Friday and Saturday, I am you see me. You look at me alone with a qui solita. At first qui Frankie Nideja here alone. Sometimes Frankie leaves me. You know, I stick something. Example like these are interesting signs that show that the scientific categories used in classifying linguistic items may be independent of their social description. Okay, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sigurd Prendi. I want to present about code mixing, the purpose of code mixing, and my friend has been present about code mixing before me. And code mixing sering terjadi ketika si penutur menggunakan suatu bahasa terlalu dominan yang membuat dia harus menggunakan bahasa lainnya. And this is code mixing often happen in a informal situation, dan ini juga terjadi karena keterbatasan bahasa dari si penutur yang membuatnya menggunakan bahasa lainnya. And ini juga terjadi karena karakteristik dari si penutur. Maka dari itu tujuan dari code mixing itu adalah untuk melengkapi atau membantu si penutur untuk menyampaikan suatu hal kepada orang banyak. I think it's enough for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Types of code mixing. According to Suito, code mixing is divided into two types. One, inner code mixing, in which happens because elements insertion from original language with all its variant. And two, outer code mixing, in which occurs because of elements insertions stemming from foreign language. It means that the first language of the speaker in this case. Types of code mixing according to Miskin. Insertion, word phrase. The whole process of code mixing is conveyed as something broadening. For example, in bahasa, nanti, siang, jadi, meeting di mana. And alternation, approach departing for alternation view the convenience on mixing in terms of ability equivalence of the language. Example, such English Indonesian, Ngeprint berapa lembar sih butuhnya? Oke, thank you.